and welcome to Fantasy Football Friday. We have here with me John Y4, the owner of the fantasy football team, and Logan Dynamite Baumgard, the owner of Foley Shove. Here we are. It is Fantasy Football Friday, like I just said, and we had some good matchups week one. All right.
Oh yeah.
Let's go take a look quick at these two guys' game. They play each other this week, but we're gonna get to that last. We're gonna talk about their games from last week. Now, Foley Chubb here played You're in Trouble owner Andrew Bailey. He beat him 143 to 127. What do you got to say about that victory, huh?
Do I feel good about talk about as I won?
So what do you look like when you're looking at your fantasy lineups week to week? You're coming off a win, all right. You're looking right now to face John, but like, what's your strategy in picking your lineups and doing all that?
Last week I played Baker Mayfield.
Okay.
While he didn't have a bad game, fantasy-wise didn't have a good game at all.
15 points?
Exactly. So I lucked out that I was facing Aaron Rodgers at the time. But if you look at that, if Aaron Rodgers has a typical fantasy week, fantasy week that he's known for, 15 points isn't going to get it done. I probably lose this game. Now, on the other hand, I could have played Patrick Mahomes, who's on my bench, who almost had 37 points. So you play him instead of Baker Mayfield. I have an easy win if Aaron Rodgers has a normal week. Now, he didn't have a normal week, so that's where I pick up the win.
Well, I mean, not even just Aaron Rodgers, basically. He was only scoring 2 points. I mean, he also had Saquon Barkley put up 3.7. So, I mean, those two players for him, Rodgers and Barkley, that he puts up, say, 15 more points for each of them or 12 more points for each of them. It's a lot closer game.
True.
And you're looking at that. But, yeah, you had the two highest scores. Tyreek Hill as your flex, I believe.
Yes,
no,
sir.
he wasn't. He was wide receiver one.
Yep.
But Patrick Mahomes is the number 2 scoring player.
On my bench.
And you had them both. I mean, that's a tough decision. Like, you don't know really. Being a Browns fan, obviously you got to go with Baker, especially how they came out that game. I mean, scoring 8-0. You're looking like they're making a statement right off the bat, and then
22-10 or whatever it was. So,
and then losing that game, but it's the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And what can you do? They're going to put up 35 points in a blink of an eye.
Exactly.
Usually week to week, and that's what we've seen all last year. And as of right now, that's what we're kind of seeing this year too. But let's go look at the fantasy football team. They're coming off a close win. Huh?
Yeah, it was a close game. Didn't, like you said, I didn't put up nearly as many points as what you want to put up, but at the end of the day, you get the win, you're gonna feel pretty good about it. Ezekiel Elliott kind of let me down, and I had him last year, and it was the same thing almost all year. So ended up dropping him. Not gonna deal with it.
You got Christian McCaffrey there still. I mean, you got Chris Carson, who's on your bench. You got Austin Eckler. You got options, and I mean some good options actually. Really don't know what else to say about that. I mean, it sucks that Ezekiel Elliott really didn't do his job. But.
Yeah, so I went and picked up Leonard Fournette, which controversial, but I feel like he could get a lot of receptions to rack up a good amount of points there, and I could use him as a flex in future games. Him and Eckler back and forth with that flex position. So
okay,
arguably
I think you might lose this game if look at John's lineup for instance, he had the third highest scorer in Tom Brady as his quarterback, and then you look his running backs 10 points for Derrick Henry, 4 points for Aaron Jones, 5 points for Julio Jones, only 14 for AJ Brown, 7 for Kyle Pitts. I mean, his defense did all right, but for the most part, it was a tough week for John. Very, very tough week there for Team Cole. But I mean, you got the dub. Surprised Lamar Jackson put up 20 points. He hasn't really been known to be a fantasy guy because, I mean, you'd think he would be, being a runner, being a quarterback or a passer, and getting a lot of points, touchdowns on both sides of the ball, or I guess on both attacks on offense, rushing and passing, you can get touchdowns. So it was a pretty decent week, though, I'd say. Not too bad for you guys. But then you look at, the good old fixers playing, Team Austin or Team Simp Dick 101. I just got shit on.
Wow.
indeed
120 to 170. I thought I had a really good, lineup out there, but Kyler Murray decided to, do his thing and play like he was in Madden 22 or Madden 21, whatever it is now. It's still the same old game, so it's still just Madden. But I mean,
DeAndre Swift.
Yeah, DeAndre Swift. He balled out. I think Jamal Williams even put up 20 points for the Lions also.
Travis Kelce had a good game. Yeah, I mean you were up a tough bill here.
Oh yeah. I mean, he has a good lineup. But I just feel like my lineup wasn't that bad compared to it. It's just, I guess I could have put Matthew Stafford there as my quarterback. That would have gave me, 8 more points. Josh Jacobs, he's out now, so that's going to suck. He's on my bench. We'll see what am I working with. Miles Gaskin, Dalvin Cook,
Brandon
Melvin
Cooks
Gordon.
look good.
Yeah, he has. He definitely has looked good. What was it, Cooks? He put up 113 receiving yards, I believe, and a touchdown or something like that.
High hopes for that Texans team.
Oh, yeah.
Always
High
veteran.
hopes.
I think that they could pull off some wins that are unexpected.
I do too, especially this week, where they go and play the Cleveland Browns.
Woo!
Which I gotta ask
Revenge
you.
game
Woo!
for Tyrod.
Oh, big revenge game for Tyrod. I mean, not necessarily. I mean, he knew what he was getting himself into when he got there. I felt like.
Yeah, I'm sure there were conversations that, hey, we're going to draft a quarterback, first round, and we think that was obvious. He knew he wasn't going to be the guy there.
Teams do
Permanently.
that. Rodgers.
It happened.
Rodgers didn't get that luxury for some reason.
But I think this week
Yeah,
I'm
they're
feeling
rough
really good. I mean, this is the first time that First Energy Stadium is going to be capacity since the Browns have really played well.
Exactly.
The last time they were capacity, the Browns were 6-10. So you have to think about after a 12-5 season that the crowd is, it's going to be full and it's going to be packed and it's going to be a tough place to play this year. So I think the Texans are coming in. I mean, they played the Jaguars last week, which, I'm never one to say after you win, a win is a win, but you have to look at who they were playing.
Exactly. Look at
You're playing a
The talent.
defense that is,
Very questionable.
They could be
Yeah.
very good. They could be a very good defense.
they could be, but
But
and then
they
you
just
look
don't
at a
have-
first-year coach, and
Kevin Stefanski.
Yeah.
He's looking really solid. I guess the question I have for you is, the fuck's wrong with the OBJ?
Well, here's the thing. So here's my philosophy on it: is the guy didn't take any contact in the off season.
Okay.
Got to remember, 8 months ago he tore his ACL.
I suppose.
It feels like a lot longer ago,
Yeah.
but it's not that long ago.
Isn't
So
like
most
halfway
people
through the
take
season?
9 months to recover from an ACL, so probably not fully recovered. And why use him now if the Browns feel like they can make a playoff run? Why not save him for January, the end of December?
Okay.
So I
See,
think
that's kind of why I asked you, because that's kind of my same thinking. Was like, yeah, why utilize him out there? Why go use him out there when you're playing Houston Texans, a team that just had maybe a fluke win, probably not
at
necessarily a
home.
huge fluke win, but I mean,
It's
it's a
you
rocking
had,
team. There.
You had Anthony Schwartz out there, the rookie for the Browns.
Mhm.
Holds the NCAA record in track and field, fastest guy in college.
What about that
track
offensive
field.
line?
Number one, baby.
What about
Okay.
Jedrick Wills? Is he all right?
Day to day, no word on him for Sunday, but
Did he just sprain? Did he just have a sprain
They
or something?
didn't say. They said MRIs were negative, and that's all that I heard on
Yeah,
it. So
hey, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Hate to see those injuries.
I'm
especially
excited for this game though, because I think it's the Browns played really good last week. I think that a couple fumbles, the 2 fumbles, really cost them. But
So, I guess another question I would have: what if? So last week we watched the Browns go into the Chiefs Stadium, Arrowhead, put up a really nice fight against
had them on the ropes.
back-to-back Super Bowl contenders, I guess. Had them on the ropes. Looked just fine without Odell Beckham Jr.
Yeah.
So, possibility. What if this were to happen? Browns are like, fuck it. Offense looks great without him. We're fine. Let's ship him out of here. What do you see that happening? And if it does, what do you want back? I guess.
I
in
think
return?
that OBJ as a player is not as much as OBJ as the teammate.
Okay.
I think OBJ is the guy in the locker room, the guy in the sideline that's propelling guys like Jarvis Landry, Baker Mayfield. I mean, you see how much Baker hung out with OBJ in the offseason.
Mm-hmm.
They were together all the time. So I think when you take away somebody like that who might not be producing on the field, you take him away, your locker room morale is going to go way down.
Yeah. Especially with Jarvis Landry being
Yeah,
that high school teammate,
Exactly.
college
So
teammate.
I think you have to look at OBJ as not so much somebody who's going to produce on the field anymore as somebody who's going to be there kind of like a Brian Hoyer or a Case
Be a
Keenum.
locker room guy.
That's going to teach the young guys and, propel the guys who are in their 3rd or 4th year. So I think that getting rid of him would be a big mistake.
Another point you gotta look at is how much could you actually get for him at this point?
True.
It's been how long since he's had a full season, and
Yep.
I don't know how much teams would be willing to get up. I mean, you look at a guy like Julio Jones, who's only hurt for 3 games last year, and
Yeah.
the Titans didn't have to give up very much.
Yeah, I
for
mean,
him.
he was on the
Second round
market
pick.
for
So
a
a guy
long
like
time.
OBJ, it's probably not even worth it at this
I
point.
suppose
Yeah,
we've
you
seen
keep
what
him
DeAndre
around.
Hopkins and Julio Jones both go for 2nd-round picks.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
A guy like OBJ might only be a 4th, 5th round.
especially at this point, coming off the ACL injury.
And
not
then
sure
and
we're
then
gonna get it.
you take that trade off. Oh, we're getting a 4th round pick. Now Jarvis Landry and Baker Mayfield are pissed off. They're not going to play as well.
Yeah.
You know,
Team
maybe
chemistry
Baker
will
wants
go
more
down.
money. Jarvis doesn't want to stay after this next year. You know, you start doing those
It's
trade
not
offs.
worth it.
It's not worth it. Keep him on the sideline. Keep him coaching guys that are, you know,
Yeah.
needing a little boost.
It would be one thing if they could get something significant for him.
Yeah.
But they just won't. It's just
It'll be
Not
tough to
gonna
get
happen.
something significant. Because I think you'd have to give Odell and then probably like a draft pick.
And Joku probably, and then a draft pick. I mean, at that point, you're just looking at
yeah. It's basically
too much
another rebuild.
disruption. The Browns, I think,
Yeah, I
were
suppose.
the Browns and Buccaneers were the two teams that kept their entire offense from last year. So I think that's something just important to is just the Browns have not had consistency. So why tear that away when you finally have the same front office, the same coaching staff, the same quarterback?
Yep.
Might as well just keep it all the same and see what happens.
I think that was also their issue too. You know, throughout the years is always drafting quarterback first round.
Oh, yeah.
First round, never letting them fully get an opportunity to like Kaiser. I know they went and drafted Kaiser over Barkley,
Yeah.
and I was like, dude, like take Barkley. You know, get that running back. Let Kaiser kind of learn a little bit. You know, give him year 2, year 3, see what he does. Obviously, it didn't turn out that well, but. That's a good point with consistency there. and
I
chemistry.
did see the Browns worked out Reuben Foster yesterday.
Oh, yep, I did.
I think
did
that's a
see
good-
that.
that's a good
linebacker.
move, yeah.
That's one position you guys would need, and I think
Oh,
if
yeah.
anything were to happen that way, I mean, obviously they're gonna go free agency. But if they were potentially not gonna happen, obviously Odell Beckham is probably gonna be a Brown for the rest of his career. But
Oh, yeah.
if that were to happen, I think that's one of the positions you'd want to look at
For
as
sure,
his
for sure.
linebacker. Maybe. I guess you wouldn't really need any defensive linemen because you guys already got a solid front four and Jadeveon Clowney, Myles Garrett.
J.A. McClowney had, I think he had 2 half sacks last week, and
Yeah,
Myles
he
Garrett
balled
had 2
out.
full sacks. So definitely looking at something when you. I mean, they had I think they were 44% of the time they were pressuring the Chiefs O line and Patrick Mahomes. Now, if you go against any other team in the NFL, 44% pressure in a game, you're winning the game by quite a
Yeah.
bit.
Oh yeah.
But when you're going against Patrick Mahomes, you're
Yeah.
probably not going to win
You
the
can
game. That's just
run
like,
back.
he had something to prove.
Oh yeah, he did. Big time after coming off that
Oh, yeah.
gruesome knee injury last year. That was
Yeah.
awful. But I think you said it best, John, yesterday. Where like, damn, we have these games are a lot closer, a lot
Yeah.
more exciting to watch than last
Fans
night.
are back.
Last night was
And that's a
another
big point.
awesome game.
Awesome game. What was it?
30-29.
30-29.
Incredible game.
Just a screw up there at the end when Dustin Hopkins went out to kick the field goal, kicked it, missed it, and center Dexter Lawrence wants to jump offside, so he gets another chance to kick through the uprights, win the game. But man, Taylor Heineke, oof, that man, I'm
He
excited.
can ball.
Yeah.
I'm
He looks
excited
good.
for him.
Wow.
You think he has the potential of being their starter down the road?
I would hope that after last night he's earned the right. And I think if you look at the way he's played over the years, just even preseason games, I think he's earned the right. I think that Ryan Fitzpatrick is now in that, you know, he can coach Taylor Heineke. And
Take that OBJ role.
yeah,
Exactly.
even if he's not injury, you know, if even he comes off this injury next week and they're like, okay, or Sunday, and they're like, we want him to start, I think that you have to play Taylor Heineke. I think he's earned that right.
Well, and
Fresh
I think
blood.
another interesting thing is I seen Ryan Fitzpatrick opted not to have surgery. He's going for rehab instead. So it's like at the end of the season, he's
How long
gonna
is he
need
out
rehab.
then?
I think it said 6 to 8 weeks. or
Wow,
something like that.
I didn't realize it was that long. So I mean, Taylor Heineke is guaranteed the spot then for at least that long.
Well,
so.
I
And
think
if
he
he can
actually
prove-
fractured something in his hip. He had
Wow.
to.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
didn't hear
Taylor
that.
throws 15, 16 touchdowns and only 4 picks throughout that time. You know,
He gets a contract.
That's huge.
extension. I mean, he already did, right? Last
Well,
season?
Yeah, basically, I think he signed a 1-year contract,
Okay.
which was basically all off of incentives. Just
Sure.
like last night, he got a $125,000 check just because he played 60% of the snaps and got a win.
Wow.
So that was a
Good for him.
huge thing for
I
him.
think he lost his dad, 2-3 years ago?
Something like that. I think he did that when it was. I don't know if it was necessarily when he was with the Vikings or Carolina when that happened.
I think it was like his first start with Carolina because I think he started 1 or 2 games for them, and I think it was when he was with them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm definitely seeing that potential there. He's gonna be.
I'm
He's
pulling
gonna be a
for
problem,
him.
or he
Yeah.
could be a problem. And it's
Absolutely.
like, especially when Curtis Samuel gets back healthy for him for that
Oh, yeah.
Washington offense, they're gonna be a good team. That defense, a little lackluster the first week, but that second week, or especially last night against the Giants, they looked a little bit better. But it's, Saquon.
still some holes.
There is
defense.
There is. Let's see what their pass protection wasn't that great. They have to put more pressure on Daniel Jones, but I feel like they did put enough pressure on him because I think Daniel Jones had like 96 rushing yards last night. So
Hell of a game.
Yeah.
dude.
hell of a game. I mean, people are thinking it's like his downfall. This is his year to show what he's actually got. Otherwise, he's out of there. It's like, dude, 264 yards 1 week, 290 some yards I believe last night. You know, a couple touchdowns, 90 plus rushing yards each night. So I mean, this guy's a baller. It's just, can we get fucking Saquon Barkley moving? Like,
Yeah.
That dude.
What is going on with him? Is
I
he
believe
still
he is-
hurt or?
No, he's just. I think
Bad
he's
O-line?
just pussyfooting around. I don't know what he's.
Same thing with Zeke. Can't they get that boy rolling?
Exactly. I think, what was his name? Jason Brown, JB, on the Pat McAfee show. He said, what did he say? He basically said, like, these guys are easy. Like, they come and go. Like, they're so easy to replace. You can go, like he said, you can go get a guy right now off the streets to play running back for you, and he'll be just fine. Or do the exact same thing.
Yeah, if you got a good line, basically plug anybody in there.
Yeah, not worth the number one pick, I think, is where we're going with that one. Is, you know, when you're taking a running back at number one, it just hasn't worked out. Leonard Fournette, which looks all right now. David Johnson, which, I mean, you move him to a different team with a better O-line and you see how it worked better, but necessarily are they going to make that difference on your team year one in their rookie year? Probably not.
Yeah, not unless you're like Najee Harris or something, like getting all those attempts and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, he's joining a really good team already.
Good offensive line.
Yeah, like taking ETN when you got Robinson back there. I
Yeah,
feel
that
like
was a
that
good
was a
one.
mistake.
Yeah.
I don't think that they should have wasted a first round pick on ETN when they should have took a lineman.
Right.
And it was a mistake. Travis Etienne's hurt out for the
Yep.
whole year. So it's like,
And Robinson's starting anyways, and probably have another 1,000-yard year.
I'd assume, especially from scrimmage.
Yeah,
I mean, it'll be a big year for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I just don't know how that's all going to work out with
I don't think it will.
Urban
Yeah.
Meyer. Yeah, I think
Especially after that first game, the Texans
they
made
shit
them
all
look
over him. Like,
terrible. And I think that next week we'll see that the Texans will probably get demolished by the Browns, and we'll be like, damn,
Yeah.
Jacksonville's not good. Again.
Yeah.
do you think they're going to still roll with that complacency? Because it seemed like the Browns got a little complacent towards the end of the game there, where it's just like they let Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill flip this switch almost in that last. I mean, fourth quarter, I believe, they put up 16 points or something like that.
So I
Chiefs
think-
make everyone look like that, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Counting this year, the last 3 years, the Browns' offense is probably top of the league, right? Top three.
I'd say.
Easy. Because, I mean,
I mean, Nick Chubb.
2018,
Mhm.
2019, we had OBJ and Jarvis and all that. So the last 3 years, we've looked really good on offense. Our problem has always been defense. It's always been the secondary. And now we brought in guys like Josh Johnson and or John Johnson.
Yeah, John Johnson.
And you bring in guys like that, but they really didn't look that good last week.
No.
But then again, you know, you're going against the Super Bowl contenders, Super Bowl runner-ups in their home stadium in Arrowhead where nobody wins. I mean, what is the Chiefs' record at Arrowhead? The last
Well,
10
in
years?
September, I'm
Insane.
pretty sure they're undefeated. And in September, Pat Mahomes, I think it was like 28 touchdowns, 0 picks.
35 and
So-
0,
so
11
you-
and 0,
so
3,637
I think that-
yards passing.
You really can't judge the Browns' defense, Browns' secondary off the. I think our offense was still fighting at the end, but then again, we had what's his name in there instead of Jedrick Wills. You know, you lose a big.
Was it Tower or
That's a
something?
top 3 pick, Jedrick Wills, that we took 2 years ago. So I think that's.
I mean, if that was a playoff game, a pretty good playoff game.
Yeah.
I mean,
You're right.
I mean, last year they were a good matchup for the Chiefs, too.
And the Ravens
Yeah.
didn't they?
played the hell out of the Ravens last year
They were really close to beating, I think, the Chiefs last year too, weren't they?
in the playoffs.
Well, I guess not in the playoffs. Well, I guess
I think we
playoffs
only played
and-
them in the playoffs.
Really?
I think we did.
Okay.
Yeah, I might be
Still
wrong,
a
but I
good
think
game.
we only did because we were Patrick Mahomes was out with that ankle injury, and then we
Oh,
had their
yeah.
backup,
Was it
and that was when we had
Chad Henne?
Chad Henne, and it was 4th and 3 or 4. I think it was
Yeah,
4th and
Matt.
4.
Pass to Tyreek Hill.
Yep,
Oh, he's
and
bounce.
I mean there was nobody in the NFL or in the football world thought that they were going to throw a pass on 4th or 4.
No.
You got what? I think it was like a minute 30 left in the game.
Field goal range?
First
weren't
down, yeah, no, they weren't. They were half or midfield, but first down seals the win because they were ahead.
they? Oh, yeah.
But
yeah,
4th down, we hold them, then we're on their side of the field. So our, Joe Woods, which is our defensive coordinator, was looking at that as they're definitely going to try and,
yeah. Running up the middle.
or just try and get us off sides. Like, who's going to go for it on 4th and
Or
4?
hard count quick.
Andy Reid is going to go for it on 4th and 4 in the playoffs, and he did, and, he threw the pass.
Paid
And
off.
Paid off big time.
So, I mean, that's a freak play. But I saw a stat during the Browns game on Sunday that the halftime score was the same as the playoff halftime score.
Really?
I think it was 22-17, which
Okay.
was same for both games. So it's kind of crazy.
That is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Well, let's dive into, I guess, this week's fantasy. lineup. So we're looking at the first game we're going to look at here is Austin, or Simpdick 101 versus AB's team. You're in trouble. Austin's coming off a 1-0 record, beating my ass. You're in trouble's coming off a loss from Foley Chubb over here. You're in trouble's up 8.9 right now. Austin hasn't had a player play yet where AB had Saquon Barkley in another shitty game from Saquon, 8.9 points. He has 57 rushing yards, 12 receiving yards. I believe he has like 15 total receiving yards this year. He has 83 total rushing yards on, I believe, like 20-some attempts or like 30-some attempts this year. So it's looking really, really rough for Saquon. But I guess if we dive into this a little bit, what do you guys like? What do you guys don't like for each team or either team? Who do you guys got winning this game? You think this is gonna be a close match? I mean, we're looking at Kyler Murray versus Aaron Rodgers, David Montgomery versus Kamara, Swift versus Barkley, Adams, and all these guys. Austin has a good lineup, has a lot of power hitters right there.
I think Rodgers will have a good game this week.
Do you?
Oh yeah. Yeah,
I think it'll be a bounce back week for the Packers against the Lions division game.
Are they where are they sitting? Are they home?
They're
Are
home.
they at the Lambeau?
Nope, they're home. It says Detroit.
Okay.
Not at Detroit. Yeah, they're home on
They're
a Monday
home
night
at
primetime
Lambeau,
game.
Monday night. Aaron Rodgers is hearing all the
Bounce
shit.
back. Yeah.
All the shit that people are talking about. I mean,
No
it is
humidity.
That's why I'm
Nothing.
thinking starting Bobby Tonyan over Mark Andrews.
nonstop. Oh wow, really?
And I don't know, I'm really debating on that. But
Well,
the Ravens are playing the Chiefs.
Yeah, I was gonna say they play the Chiefs. That's a tough one. Well, but the Ravens, they have Sammy Watkins. What's his name? Marquise Hollywood Brown. I guess Mark Andrews. But
So I think if I'm gonna
That'll be
jump
tough.
in here, I'm playing Patrick Mahomes against a fantasy football team here, and I think that KC Baltimore. I mean, that's Sunday night. That should be a shootout, right? I mean, that should be.
Should be.
That should be an insane game.
But I just feel like that Ravens game it was sloppy from all angles. I mean, Lamar Jackson still did his thing. It just was a slow-paced game, and neither offense could really get going.
Yeah,
I think the Chiefs are going to be able to get going like that, but
you're at Allegiant Stadium though for the first time.
yeah, and that
For
crowd
with
noise was,
that's the first time Vegas has been able to come out to a show or to a game, and I mean Vegas is it's going to be
they
back
came
there
out.
every week.
They came out full force.
It was loud there.
It was super loud. I mean, Derek Carr even had to shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
you
he
guys."
was. That last touchdown pass he threw, he was like, "Come on!"
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, Peyton Manning he's like, "Have you ever seen this?" Talking to Eli, "Have you ever seen a quarterback they try to quiet their fucking home crowd down?"
Yeah, they were all drunk off their ass.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I loved how Carr praised, what was it, Zay Jones that caught that last one?
Yeah.
I loved how he praised him. It was
Yeah.
awesome.
What do you say?
He's just like the work that he's putting in. He's in here at 6 a.m. every day,
When he
putting
calls
in
him.
extra work. Every time he calls him, he's there.
Who is that linebacker that the Raiders had that the announcers were hyping up? Saying
Max
that he was
Crosby?
in it. Yeah,
Max
Max
Crosby.
Crosby. Yeah.
He's basically defensive end.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
They were saying that he was in there, beating John Gruden. And John Gruden, they said, pulled up to his parking spot one morning, and there was one car in the parking lot, and he gets in, and he's like, "Who the hell is here before me?" And it was Crosby.
Yeah, it sounds like good work ethic.
He looked good.
Going down in Vegas.
They have a good handful of players. It's just, can that head coaching style get them to win? That offense was just, who are the wide receivers?
Henry Ruggs, Zay Jones.
But I mean, even Henry
Darren
Ruggs.
Waller.
Darren Waller.
Waller's
Who is
gonna
it?
be
Who
that
is
guy,
it? Well,
that's
it might have
about
been
it.
Jones then.
Zay Jones caught the touchdown.
Okay.
He
Because
caught.
I know they were talking about how, I think it was the one announcer, I can't remember his name, but he was saying that Jones was looking a lot better than Henry Ruggs in the training camp and in preseason and everything.
Okay.
So you get Henry Ruggs up to production, I mean, what he should be
I
at.
think they
'Cause
got
he
another guy too.
yeah,
I
can
think
check
you know what I have a pretty hard take here, but from what I'm seeing so far, Henry Ruggs is the poor man's Tyreek Hill.
They got Hunter Renfro
He's
too.
fast, but yeah, not
Hunter
reliable.
Renfro.
A lot of
Yeah,
drops.
Hunter Renfro's gonna be their
He-
second guy.
He did really well. Too.
Wow. So yeah, I mean they're in theory. I mean Derek Carr has not been a bad quarterback over the years.
No, he's one of the most underrated quarterbacks in my
He's a Matthew Stafford kind of guy. He's been on, questionable
Maybe just the
teams
wrong
over the years.
situations, stuff like that. I don't even know who their
He
OC
take
is.
cares of the
Can
ball.
we talk about the Rams for a minute? Oof. They look
Yeah,
good.
They're going to be a good
They
team.
look
Oh,
good.
holy
They had some
cow.
big plays. I'm excited to see Matthew Stafford's arm strength like in full force
Yeah.
this whole year.
Yeah, no kidding.
Especially with protection. I mean, he has a really, really good offensive line. They're going to have some solid protection there for Matthew Stafford. Rams are going to be... I mean, that whole NFC West division is just... Like, who do you pick? Because the Cardinals absolutely just demolished the Titans.
Yeah.
Like, the Rams went out there, beat a okay Bears team.
Right.
You know, I mean, Seattle Seahawks went kind of, sort of easily beat the Indianapolis Colts, even though it was a tough fought game.
It was. I mean, the
Niners
first half.
won.
I think, that division's definitely a toss-up. I got Cardinals or Rams.
Yeah.
Them two are...
Both amazing teams. I think it's going to be, one of those situations where they're at the end of the season playing for the division title because they both look really good. But I mean, you got to look at it too, just like we were talking about the Texans playing the Jays, the Rams played the Bears.
Yeah, see, that Bears team is like, I don't trust them.
The
Especially
Bears-
their secondary.
Yeah,
Like, I mean,
it's tough.
I don't even think they have Danny Trevathan anymore. I think he's on a different... I can't remember what team it was, but I remember seeing him make a play for a different team, I'm pretty sure. So they're looking... Bears are interesting. They have a really interesting team over there.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how long it takes them to actually start going with Justin Fields, and who knows what that's all going to
He's
look
still
like.
on the Bears.
Is he?
Yep.
Oh, maybe I was thinking of some other guy. Oh, I think it was Melvin Ingram I was thinking of, who was on the Chargers, now is on the Pittsburgh Steelers, which is a very, very good addition for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I know it's
Oof.
stellar defense.
I think that after this week one, I think that for me as a Browns fan, the team that scares me the most again is the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
And they at the Bills, and they should have lost that game. You're up 10-0 at halftime. Big Ben looked frustrated going into the third quarter, and then they outscore you 26 or something in the
Mhm.
third quarter
Yeah,
or
that's
in the
Mike
second
Tomlin.
half. So I mean,
Mike
that's
Tomlin for it.
definitely Mike Tomlin.
but at the end of the day, the Browns, you just got to play what you got to play, and you got to win the games you should win, and that's all it comes
There's a
down
couple
to.
teams that didn't do that last week.
Right? Yeah, the Bills are one of them.
Yeah,
The Bills should have beat the Steelers. They should have.
Going to the Super Bowl. So that's
Josh
awesome.
Allen just got that 100. How many did he get? That
What?
big extension he got.
$146 million, I want to say.
Exactly. So I mean, you gotta play like it.
It was Bills got some work to do. I think they're gonna be just fine. Obviously, they're still gonna probably win that division. Patriots probably gonna look. They're gonna have a better record than last year for sure. Dolphins.
What were they last year?
Dolphins could be scary.
9-7. They're
Patriots?
7-9. Sorry.
7-9.
Tua can get going,
Yeah.
and he still hasn't had a bad game.
No, I mean he had that. I mean I guess that was like a half a game. Like he really hasn't had that. I guess his decision making is probably a little under.
I think that it's just he's conservative.
That's
what I
what
think it
that's
is.
what I was working for.
Kind of like Derek Carr kind of has that play style where you're gonna take care of the ball, it's a little dinks and
Yep.
dunks, but
Yeah, we talked about that last night too with all these rookie quarterbacks coming in the league. You
Yeah.
know, wanting to make sure they make a name for himself before making all those risky plays, like Mac Jones doing these little throwing to the running back,
Yeah,
throwing to
exactly.
the wide open guy.
yeah, because last year Tua, I'm pretty sure he was 6-3 in the games that he started, and he had 11 touchdowns, only 5 picks, 1,800 yards in those
So I guess you
9
could say
games.
it's
Average.
average. But yeah, the picks could be a little bit or down. I guess. Oh wait, you say 5 picks, 11
Yep,
touchdowns
11 and 5.
in 9 games?
Mm-hmm. Not terrible.
Yeah, that's not terrible. I mean, you could take 4 games, no interceptions like that. Which I mean, they're probably more spread out, but
I think a team we really should be looking at is the 49ers.
yeah, they're interesting.
Because I think
What the
the
hell?
way that let's look at this here, they have Jimmy Garoppolo, 17 out of 25, 314 yards with a touchdown, and then they had Trey Lance, which, threw a little touchdown in the red zone. I think that's a fun team that we really could see some cool things happening with them switching between Jimmy G and
Or,
Trey
you know,
Lance.
blowing a lead and almost losing.
They did. I watched that game, actually, and yeah,
I think that was just one of those let off the gas situations.
Yeah.
Gotta
I mean, that's
let
kind of
those-
like, you're so far, because, I mean, they were really far ahead at halftime.
Yeah.
What were they up,
I
like
think it was like 30.
38 to something?
It was
right?
ridiculous. Yeah, it was a big score. I want to say.
So, I mean, they were,
Yeah.
I mean, they got outscored in the fourth quarter 16-3.
31-13 at half. Is that
Yeah.
what it says?
Yeah. So, I mean,
Right then and there, that should be game over.
it should have been, but that's one of those things, like John said, you're just kind of playing control football. You're probably playing.
Playing safe.
Yeah.
Not taking any
That's a
shots.
dangerous game. And fucks a lot of teams.
It does.
Oh yeah.
But
Especially when one guy's trying to play 100% and because he might be a rookie or something, the other guy's like, dude, just
Jesus,
calm down,
Murphy.
50%.
we won.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
They had jerk off throw 57 times.
Yeah, I seen that. I was like, oh my god.
Oh my lord. He
Might
threw
be a
3
good
touchdowns and a
fantasy for you.
pick.
I think, yeah,
Wow.
it could be.
If he's throwing the ball that
But
much.
they have no fucking receivers. Like Quezwa, was it?
Yeah, because they're tight
Yeah,
end. Because I had
Quez
TJ
yeah.
Hawkinson on my team in fantasy. And
He's
he
old
had
guy.
almost 100 yards and a touchdown. And
Do they
then
got
close
Marvin Jones?
DeAndre Swift.
No, Marvin Jones is on the Jacksonville Jaguars. And then Kenny Galladay, who just was seen
Yeah.
bitching at
Yeah,
Daniel
so they don't
Jones
have
last
anybody
night.
except TJ Hawkinson. Wow.
Basically, yeah, if they get a wide receiver or two, I mean, they could do something, but can't believe the Niners let that go.
Yeah, it was
But I
close.
think that whole thing with Trey Lance is obviously, I think they're just trying to get his NFL debut out of the way, pretty much. Like,
That could
hey,
be fun.
Get a
I
snap in there, and
Could
you're
be
good.
a Taysom Hill, Drew Brees kind of situation, you know?
Maybe.
You
I
can do that
just
with Fields too.
I think
Mhm.
they're
You
good.
wanna
I think
keep going
that's
with
Who
Dalton.
started for the Bears last
Andy
year?
Dalton.
Andy Dalton.
Andy
He'll
Dalton.
continue to start. I
That
think they're
makes
going to
sense
use. They're probably honestly the way it looked like week 1 is Andy Dalton's going to be the week or going to be the starter. Pretty much every week I feel like where Justin Fields is going to be that
Well,
wildcat
if they start
guy.
out 0-3, they
Well,
might
yeah.
just end up rolling with them.
I suppose.
But if Dalton
They
will
got
have his revenge game against Cincy this week. I'm
Yeah,
pretty
just-
sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, it's Bears Bengals.
I didn't catch
think
the
that's right.
Rams Bears game, but just looking at the stats here, I think it makes more sense to put Justin Fields in here. 'Cause you got Andy Dalton throwing 38 times for 200 yards with a pick, and then you have Justin Fields 2 passes for 10 yards.
Yeah, he will because he played more than those 2 passes. 'Cause
Oh,
he
he
was in
did?
there for
Okay.
a lot of the read options.
Oh yeah,
stuff.
here you go. He's got 1 rush for 3 yards and a touchdown, I guess. But
I think against the Bengals, you go with Dalton, and if he lays an egg there, then you really got
then you really know because
Well,
that should be a revenge game.
Yeah.
I think their week 3 game was a tough game. You want to look at that quick? I
Yeah, for
believe.
sure.
Because I remember talking about this. Oh no, it wasn't week 3. It was against the Lions, I believe, at home.
Oh,
in
Bears
Soldier
at
Field.
Browns, week
Oh.
3.
No, and then what else? So what else is it? Lions after that?
Yeah, so then you do your debut of Fields against
Yeah,
the
Yeah,
Lions.
Lions at Bears. Yeah.
You
So,
don't
I mean-
start him against the Browns.
No. And if you do, you're
Those,
expecting
those
either-
first 3 games, I think you.
So the
keep
Browns are
rolling
home
with
for the next
Dalton.
2 games against the Bears and Texans, and then they're at the Vikings.
Yep.
Which I'll be at that game, by the
Yeah,
way.
Should start out 3-1 then.
should.
Really should, and then I think the Browns after the Vikings actually don't even have anybody. You know, somebody they should beat. Let me look here.
The Vikings.
No, the Browns.
Mm.
Yeah, and then you're at the Chargers on October 10th. So I mean, really, the Browns are looking at a 4-1 start before they go to the Cardinals. But even we have the Cardinals at home, and then you have the Broncos at home, Steelers at home, at Bengals.
Yeah, I think your second half of the year is a lot easier than your first half.
Yeah.
So if you start off hot, you're gonna start off or end off. I feel like pretty good. I mean, you got Packers in there, but
Yeah, we play Packers on Christmas Day at Lambeau.
that'll be cold.
And Browns are playing their 1946 uniforms, which is their throwback, and I think the Packers are playing their
Their
throwback
John
that
Deere
day.
ones?
Yeah.
That'll be
That'll
cool.
be
So
interesting.
that'll be cool. 2 alternate uniforms, Christmas Day. Hopefully it's snowing.
I'm excited to see those uniforms.
Be a good
back in
day.
Play.
Yeah, I want to see him on the field.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are new. Those are. I feel like that's almost a different green than that Aaron Rodgers one over there. It's like almost a vibrant.
Yeah, I liked them. I'm gonna be the odd man out. I was a fan. I saw them right away. I liked them, and a lot of people are saying that they copied this or that. It's like they had them. I mean, they're pretty much
1960s?
eye for eye.
1954, I think it was.
They're eye for eye what they had at that time.
Yeah.
They're pretty much the exact same uniform. So I liked them. I mean, they're different. Whenever you have a different uniform in the NFL,
Especially
people are
with
gonna
the
hate on it.
traditional team like that. Like,
Yeah.
That never has changed. Like,
Right.
Ever really.
yeah,
Exactly.
since the 19
Was it the 80s?
like no, it was like 60s because the Packers had these in
Oh,
the first
yeah.
2 Super Bowls. They just slight little changes on them, like you could see
the stripes and
Yeah,
stuff
a
like
little
that.
bit
Yeah,
thickness
see, I like
difference.
that. That's
Yeah, see, it'll be interesting. I think it's one of those things where, okay, you have your first opinion looking at them on, the internet and stuff, and then once they hit the field, that's when you're like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, these.
if they
these
play
look-
good, they'll look really good, right?
Mhm. Yeah, if they play like crap,
Then you're
I'm
gonna.
gonna hate them.
That yellow helmet, though, I do like.
I do.
Just
Like
that
it. I like it
plain
better
yellow.
than this. what
Yeah,
they've done
well, I
in
mean,
the
I think it's
past.
basically the same concept with the helmet.
The helmet is the helmet's the same, but yeah, the uniform I definitely like better than what they've done in the past. But
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it should be a great season. I mean, we've already seen so many great games, and this week John's going down. So
yeah, let's talk about that quick. We have to dive into that. So I'm currently. We won't talk about my game too much. I'm up 27-0. John Cole hasn't had a team or anybody play yet. I had one guy, that was Terry McLaurin, had about 170 yards, a touchdown last night. So that's pretty good. But let's get to these two because this game, I look at it right here, and the projected score, or the finished score, is 133.82 in Foley Chubb over a fantasy football team at 133.65, or is that 5.5? Yeah, 5.5. Really close game they have you guys playing.
Yeah,
What do you
should
guys
be
think?
interesting. I need a good game from
Russell Wilson, Christian McCaffrey.
And,
Right.
Yep. Chris Carson, if he can have a good game, too, against the Tennessee Titans. I hope that the Tennessee Titans come out how they did last week.
He had a good week last week too, didn't he?
Side note, Chris Carson's my starting running back in my other league. So
Okay. Oh, he had 12.7, I guess, last week. It's not terrible, but he played with DeForest Buckner and Darius Leonard on that Colts off our defensive line, so it's a big test.
Yeah, I got Eckler, McCaffrey, and Chris Carson.
I guess your big what if would be maybe Tanyan.
Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I'm still debating on that Tanya and Mark Andrews. I'm really banking on Rodgers to have a good game, but it's just a matter if the ball gets to Tanya.
I guess who would you trust more in primetime? Because they both play primetime games. That's
a good question.
That's an iffy situation. Because I feel like Lamar Jackson really likes his tight ends. He's gonna have to utilize them, especially against that Chiefs team. I mean, they have ridiculous coverage in the secondary, and then Tyrann Matthew's gonna be back this week, so that'll be interesting. Yeah, that's a tough one because the Lions probably can't fucking guard him. Bob Tonyan out there, worth a damn.
I don't know who they would have to match up with him.
I guess here's a good thing to look at. Let's what was it? The Kansas City there. So who was the Browns tight end? Is that still Hooper?
Hooper and David Njoku, but
How'd they do?
Hooper's considered the number one, but David Njoku, I think he had 3 receptions for
I seen him. He was doing work.
about 40 yards, and he almost had a touchdown last week. So David Njoku is their number 2 guy. I wouldn't be surprised if going into the season he becomes the number 1 guy. I mean, we drafted him in the 2nd round in 2017. So I wouldn't be surprised if but yeah, Austin Hooper, David Njoku, and then we have, can't think of his name, guy we drafted last year.
Because I'm looking
Harrison Bryant, who's looked really good.
Yeah.
So
Because, I mean, the one thing you can look at is George Kittle last week. He played against, obviously, the Detroit Lions. He only put up 11 points, so that could be a little worrisome.
Yeah, especially a guy like him.
Yeah. What the Raiders, I guess, yeah, Mark Andrews played against the Raiders. What did he look like last week?
I don't think he had very many.
5. Wow.
Yeah.
ooh, that's rough. That's
Okay.
a really rough game for him.
And then Bob Tonyan didn't do shit. I mean, that you can't really do much. 38-3. I mean, you're gonna take what you can get at that point.
Yeah.
This could be a good game between you two. I
But
mean,
this week I am starting Patrick Mahomes. So I want to point out I got Patrick Mahomes, number 1 in the league, fantasy league for QBs. I've got Joe Mixon, which is ranked the number 1 running back. I've got Nick Chubb, who's ranked the number 5 running back. Tyreek Hill, who's ranked the number 2 wide receiver. And then TJ Hawkinson, who's ranked the number 3 tight end. So, I mean, realistically, this should be a wash for me. And,
you hear that? Take shots over here.
Might be a wash for either one of us. We're projected very close here, and I guess it just has to deal with the matchups,
Yeah, and the one I'm
it's going to be a
questioning
good game
is Patrick
regardless.
Mahomes.
It's a good game regardless.
That
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes, Baker Mayfield decision's a little different. Just giving the old bird over here.
Oh, whoa, alrighty. Well, in that case, I'm going to whoop your ass. So,
Yeah,
That's
we'll
what
see
he
about
thinks.
that.
I'm-
See about that. Yeah.
Well, you already got 3 points. Who was your 3 points? Your defense?
Washington defense.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
hoping they would do better than that, but
Especially against a New York team. But Daniel Jones, man, he's the real
it was
deal.
Danny
either
Dimes.
Washington against New York or Ravens against the Chiefs.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
If I'm playing against the Chiefs, I'm going to whoever playing the Giants.
Well, hey, I played last week. I did play both leagues. Both my leagues, I played the Browns defense against the Chiefs and got me 3 points.
And that's what I got.
Better than I thought it was going to be honest with you. But I did not hit anybody. I tried to get somebody in the waiver wire, and it didn't go through.
Yeah, I think it takes like 2 days.
Yeah, so
Hey, it's gonna be a good battle. I'm excited to watch this one play out. I mean, when's your guys' last guy play? Monday?
Yeah, I think we both, because I have Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill, and then he has some Ravens on his team. So, or no, that's
You got Hawkinson.
Sorry, that's Sunday.
You got Hawkinson on Monday.
Yeah, so Sunday. Oh yep, Hawkinson on Monday.
Hawkinson versus Tanyan if I keep him in there.
Yep.
I think I'm going to.
Yeah, I'd probably roll with that.
I mean, last week a big part of my win too was I had I don't even know how to say his name, but the Colts kicker
That's a tough one.
did really good.
Rodrigo Blankenship.
Yeah.
For
7
that
points
Mark
last week.
Andrews, that one, or for that Rob Tanyan, I guess Mark Andrews, because who knows what Lamar's gonna have to. He's gonna have to do a lot of running. If he does a lot of checkdowns, it's probably gonna be a lot of Mark Andrews.
Maybe.
But that's the same thing. Oh, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
I don't even know. I'd probably, if you're gonna stick with it, I'd go with your gut feeling, because that's probably what's gonna be right more times than not.
Right.
Yeah, you guys have a battle. I mean, what's mine looking like? Let's see quick before we decide to sign off.
You're projected to win 145 to 124 right now.
That's what we like to see. Trending
You got
upwards.
Melvin Gordon, Delvin Cook, Stephon Diggs, Matthew Stafford. I mean, you're pretty. George Kittle, Antonio Brown. Definitely a stacked team.
Yeah, it's
You've
a
got
decent team.
Rams defense against Indiana, which I like. I think that's a good pick.
I think that's my only defense.
And then you're playing against Tom Brady, Derrick Henry, Aaron Jones. Wow. A.J. Brown,
Tennessee's playing Seattle,
Harrison Butker.
Yeah.
so that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Tennessee loses that game. I probably
Where are they
win
playing?
Fantasy. They're playing at Seattle.
Yeah, there's Josh
Oh,
Jacobs.
the 12th man has returned.
Oh yeah.
That'll be electric. I'm excited.
You've got Josh Jacobs on your bench, which he was ruled out with
Yeah,
a toe ankle injury. Won't play in week 2. He did look like he had limited snaps last week. That was something I noticed. I kind of turned it on towards the middle of the second quarter, and I noticed already by then that
And they used to do that with him in years past. They'd do pretty much every other drive. They'd put Jacobs in there.
Really?
And I think
Yeah, who's that other
this year they're really trying to preserve him because of the injury and stuff. So I think
making sure he's 100% before they actually overdo his load or get an overload.
I think
who
that they're
else
in
they
love with
got
Josh
at running
Jacobs,
back
and they just
here?
wanna keep
Kenyon
him out.
Drake.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about him. Yep.
Kenyon Drake. He looked really good
Yeah.
in the fourth quarter last week. He made a lot of big
He's
plays.
gonna be a good running back for him.
I mean,
Especially
he was-
number 2 guy.
He was good in Miami, so
And
Cardinals.
Arizona.
I forget he's been in Arizona since he was in Miami.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
Miami,
Wow.
Arizona, and then Raiders.
Why'd they get rid of him in Arizona?
I mean, they got rid of. I think it's because mainly they brought in James Conner. I think they just wanted to, and David Johnson got out of that situation too. So it's like
Wow.
they kind of rebuilt that running back room a little bit.
Well, they got Kyler Murray who can do it all. So I mean,
Who needs a running back when they got a running quarterback?
he looked
So it's like-
incredible last week.
I think that's what the Ravens are looking at. Like, I mean, they had Mark Ingram last year. You don't need to do much. Lamar's going to do the rest on his feet.
Right.
Now they lost their whole running back room. So it's
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that is going to do it for the show today here on Fantasy Football Friday with the fantasy football team and Foley Chubb here. We will be back here again Monday for the regular show, but next Friday we'll have officially week 2 of fantasy football over and done with, and we will have a better record hopefully in the fixture situation. But for now, enjoy the rest of your evening and have a wonderful weekend. And you just got your fix with the Wicks.